but with glam enough. Stick foundations. Should you buy one? Should you buy this one? And how does it apply when some lady spackles it all over her face? Answers to those questions and more if you keep watching. Now, stick foundations, or foundation sticks as they're sometimes called, are nothing new. They've actually been around for decades. Pan Stick by Max Factor was popular back in the 1960s. But in 2016, drugstore brands and high-end brands started coming out with new formulations, and they just keep right on coming. This particular one is from Tarte. It is the Tarte Clay Stick Foundation. This came out in like spring, summer 2017. I caved. I've been testing this out for a few weeks and I have some thoughts. So the main benefit for me with a stick foundation is touch-ups and portability. This is the easiest thing in the world for me to throw in my purse if I'm going to be out and about for a long time, or let's say if you're going to work and then you're going out for dinner and drinks afterwards. You don't need a foundation brush, you don't need your beauty blender. You can just apply this where you need it, buff it in with your fingers, and you're good to go. You also don't need concealer because this essentially doubles as a concealer. And because it's not a liquid, you don't have to worry that it is leaking all over your purse. The other big benefit for me is travel. Because it's not a liquid, I can put this in my carry-on bag. I don't have to put it in the little baggie with all of my other liquids. And that is a huge benefit for me because I often find that I don't have room for all the liquids I want to bring. So those are the main pros. The biggest con I have with this Tarte product specifically is that I absolutely have to use a face primer with it. If I don't, I find that this product finds all of the pores around my nose and on my forehead and dives right into them. So I feel like I have to be more careful with the application of this product than I do with others. The main reason I bought this one is because I already have and use other Tarte face products. I like to keep my face products to 2 or 3 different brands. That way I can mix and match more easily. So that's why I bought this one. Now let me show you how it applies because I have some issues with the application. Now I prefer higher coverage on my T-zone. So I'm going to apply a bunch of stripes on my T-zone and then I'm going to buff them in as quickly as I can with the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. It buffs in liquid and cream foundations really quickly and easily, and that is super important with this Tarte Clay Stick Foundation because I find that this dries very quickly. This goes on really nice and creamy, but when I blend it in, it blends in quickly, but it feels powdery. It has, I would even call it a cream to powder finish, and I haven't heard Tarte use that in their descriptions of this, but that is definitely how I feel that it applies, which is nice. I actually like the powdery finish. I don't necessarily have to use a finishing powder over it. However, it does mean that I have to buff in the product really quickly or I find that it's set. I like the most coverage on my T-zone, so I make a bunch of crazy stripes on my face and apparently in my hair, and then just a little bit on my cheeks just to be sure I have something there. And then I buff it in, and I start buffing it in on my T-zone because again, that's where I want most of the product to be. I have to work very, very quickly here, and then I move into the cheeks, making sure that I get the under eyes and the temple area. I don't know about you, but I have lots of veining here in my temples, and I often forget to put foundation there. So I make sure that I get those areas. Once I've gone through my face, I take whatever's left on the brush and put it down my neck. Now this is a good face match for me, a good color match, but I still think it's good to take it down your neck just so you don't have that foundation stripe. I find that I need to keep buffing this in, and I even go over my skin with my fingers just to be sure that I haven't left any areas with foundation streaks or patches. That is a minus for me because I like to apply foundation really quickly and just move on with my life. I would call this coverage medium to full foundation. It's certainly buildable, and the finish is certainly not matte. It's not dewy. I would call it maybe satin. It feels really nice on the skin. As I mentioned, it feels somewhat powdery. That means I don't have to use a finishing powder. So even with the face primer, I do feel that this is somewhat sinking in to my pores, which I'm not enjoying. I have mixed feelings on this. I really love the convenience of it, and in terms of bringing it with me, I really don't love the inconvenience of having to be so careful with how I apply it, and even seeing that it's in my pores after I've applied a face primer. So I can't fully recommend it. I would say test it out. If you don't want to try the Tarte, maybe try a drugstore brand and see how that works for you. If you don't have any issues with pores, then absolutely go for it. And if you travel a lot, then give this a whirl, because I think you would find this really, really convenient. Anyway, I would love to hear your thoughts about this particular product or about stick foundations in general. Thanks for watching. Bye.